things planned to get done today. And I'm just going to show you some of the things that happens here in our kitchen on our homestead. I do have some sourdough going for my customers, but I'm not going to show a whole lot of that since I did a video on kind of what that looks like. But we are starting to get some things from our gardens that I'm going to try to use throughout the day and just give you an idea of what it looks like in our homestead kitchen and what we eat in a day. We have one hungry girl and another one sleeping. So I think we're going to go outside and get some rhubarb. I've been trying to find some ways to use it up since it's ready and it's only going to be, good for a little while longer before it gets really hot, which it's starting to. So we're going to go pick some of that and get breakfast going. This one, huh? You say strawberry? Good job. I'm not sure if I exactly said what we are making for breakfast, but we have some sourdough waffle mix that fermented overnight. So it is ready for this morning. Well, I do have to add baking powder real quick. Oops. And then they'll be ready to go. And then we will chop up the, let's see, I think I need 4. I made a double batch in hopes that I could freeze some. Just sprinkle it. A good mix. And then it will sit for a little bit while I chop up the rhubarb and get that going. Kind of short on counter space right now because if you watched the last video about prepping food for the crowd, we harvested our meat chickens, and so we've been dealing with canning and making broth, and so now they all need washed and put away, which is also on the to-do list for today. All right. I'll just let that sit and we will get the rest going.
What do you like it?
A little spicy for me.
What?
A little spicy for me.
Why?
to kind of clean up the kitchen a little bit, organize the chaos. I can handle a little bit of chaos. Actually, I can handle a pretty good amount of chaos in the kitchen, but I can feel it reaching over that, especially on days like today where I'm doing bread for selling and trying to film a video and just among regular life things. Some things need to get organized. And first on that list is getting all the broth washed. Sometimes, a lot of times in the canner, it can just seep just a little bit, and with something like chicken broth that has some grease in it, makes the jars, outside of the jars, kind of greasy. So we're gonna get those washed and put away downstairs so that way they're off my counter, and making my kitchen a little bit more peaceful. It's definitely something I'm always having to work on, and I have not completely figured it out, if I'm being honest, because the kitchen is where I'm at the most, and it's also being used. There's so many more parts moving all the time in the kitchen, so it can get chaotic really fast. But we're working on it, and that's what we're going to start with. And I have a fun little drink to help push through that, which is just just a protein drink is all, so it's not that exciting, but it will help regardless. Well, that is a good amount of broth that I'm going to let dry, and then I'll label them and take them where we keep all of our canned goods. And if you're curious, we parted out most of the chickens the last time we harvested our meat chickens, and so we had a lot of chicken carcasses and chicken feet, which are really good for making collagen-rich broth. So that's what I used. I simmered that all. I don't typically flavor it at all. I like to kind of add the seasonings when I cook, versus that way I can use it however I want instead of putting vegetables and spices in when I make it. So that's how I do it for now anyways. That will be amazing to have on hand. So since I am baking this week, I did make an extra couple loaves for us as well. So I'm just gonna shape this one out. This is just a regular, and I did also make an extra chocolate for us, and I will show that. It's a double chocolate, and we love it. All right, well, now that can just rest for a few minutes. I'm also going to get the cookies in the oven. So these ferment for about a day, and then to get some of the sourdough benefits, they ferment in the fridge, and then they're baked. I use sourdough discard in these, which is why I have some jars right there that are overflowing, because I needed more discard, and so I mixed up some in my discard jar to let it rise and then fall. And then I decided, oh, actually, that's too much for that jar, so I split it into two jars, and apparently that still was too much for both of those jars. So we will have, of course, it'll shrink back down, and then we'll probably get a jar's worth of discard. But I know it is very active and bubbly. It is kind of fun to see when it's also active and jiggly. It's amazing. So most of these are going to go into the fridge overnight, but we are making a pasta dish in a little bit. And we're going to have that for supper. So we're going to also have some sourdough bread with it. So this loaf will go into the fridge until, so it'll get a few hours, and then it'll be ready to bake tonight. So know that you can do that. There won't be as much flavor developed that comes from an overnight ferment. It will still be delicious. I do prefer an overnight ferment because it does give a better depth and flavor, but it will still be delicious and we will enjoy it tonight. I do also have a few extra cookies for us, a little treat for the girls. So if you haven't made sourdough cookies yet, you are missing out. These have brown butter in them, sourdough discard, and they are sprinkled with sea salt after they are cooked, and they are delicious. So we are actually having a little bit of a late lunch because one was taking a nap, and we like to eat meals together versus them eat and then I eat separate or anything like that. So we waited, as long as one can anyways, and 9 times out of 10, lunch is leftovers. And so last night I made a creamy polenta and we topped it with a sausage and tomatoey red wine sauce. So I'm going to warm that up. And also we have some broccoli rabe or rapini is also what it's called. Sauteed that last night too. We grew a bunch of that this year. Not quite knowing what exactly it was. We thought it was closer to broccoli, but we have been enjoying it. So we'll warm that up also in the toaster oven. And then I have a little bit left of the polenta, which is like corn grits. And I might have to add a little bit of water or milk or something to loosen it up again, and we will have some lunch. Well, she just woke up from her nap and she spotted the cookies, so we're going to have just a little snack. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Cookie? Can I have some? Thank you. Done restocking my kamut container that stays up here. I keep all of my bulk wheat berries in 5-gallon buckets by my canning stuff. So I had to restock that quick. And so for supper tonight, we are going to make a stuffed shell type of pasta dish. And we're going to use some fresh milled kamut flour and some duck eggs. Although actually, I think it's 2 duck eggs and then 1 chicken egg. Someone put it in the wrong basket. So we're going to get the pasta dough going and then we'll mix the filling to stuff that into. I'm just gonna add a teaspoon of salt. This is, I guess, but and then the eggs. Well, thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to go weed in the garden a little bit until bedtime. So until next time, bye, friends.